Let's try and see if we've got Ayesha Kajee now on the line for some analysis. Ayesha, if you can hear me there, is it still too early to be confident in how this particular war is going to go at this time?
I think it is a bit early, Tabo. Good evening to you and your viewers. I'm sorry that the Zoom link didn't work out. But yes, I do think it's too early to call it at this point, although it's quite evident, given that, there were Hellfire missiles delivered to Israel just last week from the U.S. administration. It's quite evident that despite what Mr. Trump's been saying, regarding the negotiations with Iran, that the U.S. is still supporting the Israeli aggression against Iran. In fact, it's quite ironic that Mr. Netanyahu calls this a preemptive strike because Iran is an existential threat to Israel, in his words. Whereas in the past month, Israel has been the aggressor not only against Iran, but also against Syria and Lebanon. And of course, they're carrying out a Holocaust in Gaza and ethnic cleansing in the West Bank. So it's very ironic to see who is actually the existential threat in the region at the moment.
Yeah.
Even that, be that as it may, the fact that Israel has attacked Iran and Iran has retaliated, and that the nuclear talks have been derailed with the U.S. that were meant to happen tomorrow, it is very much on a knife edge at the moment, because if the aggression from both sides continues, then we are likely headed towards a war that will engulf the entire Middle East and may ultimately end up being World War III. So I think, Mr. Netanyahu has been really short-sighted in the continuation of his aggression against Iran and the continuation of his genocide in Gaza, purely to preserve his own political life. And he hasn't factored in the long-term repercussions down the line, not only for Israel, but for the entire Middle East.
Yeah.
And indeed
do
for
you
the rest
think
of the world.
that they've said that these bombings are going to continue? They're going to be far worse, I believe. They're saying what they've seen is nothing compared to what's going to come in the next coming days, in the next coming weeks. Essentially, is this an Israel that is committed to an open-ended regional war for the foreseeable future?
Well, it's certainly a prime minister of Israel and a very right-wing cabinet that is committed to an ongoing war in the region, yes. And on the prime minister's part, this is purely, or to a large extent, because of his own political survival, on the one hand, and also because it's taken the attention of what is happening in Gaza. Yeah. Gaza has a total communications blockout at the moment, yet the killing has intensified and is continuing. So it's a last-ditch attempt to really finish the genocide in Gaza, but without the world's attention being focused there, which is the reason why on the news we need to focus not only on what is happening between Iran and Israel, but also on what Israel is currently doing in Gaza and in the West Bank.
What's the objective here? Is it just to end a nuclear program, or is there a far more reaching regime change agenda?
Definitely a far more, long-term agenda. Regime change, yes, but also control of the oil assets of Iran and of the other assets that Iran has. It's a pretty mineral-rich country. Also, in terms of strategic geopolitics, it is strategically located in Eurasia. And that is why both the U.S. and Israel are very keen to overcome the current regime there. However, it also must be noted that it's not Iran who has refused to comply with the international nuclear watchdog, the IAEA, but Israel that has refused to be monitored, refused to sign the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, refused for years. And this is the first time in 20 years that the IAEA has said that Iran has nuclear capability. And just based on that, Israel has attacked Iran, yet we know for sure that Israel has at least 80 and possibly up to 400 nuclear warheads. So who is the confirmed nuclear power in the region? It is Israel. There is no confirmation that Iran is anywhere near a nuclear power right now, although Israel has been peddling this disinformation for the past 3 decades.
To what extent does Iran have capacity to hit back?
Iran does have enriched uranium capacity. That much we know. But as I said, until this last ruling by the IAEA, the previous visits, previous inspections showed that there was no use of that enriched uranium for anything other than power production. So Iran was not proven to have any nuclear capability in the sense of military capability. Now that appears to have been changed, but there's also leaked reports that say that members of the IAEA have actually been collaborating with Israel. So there's a lot of rumor, disinformation, and misinformation flying around about this, and yet there is no confirmed report that Iran does have military nuclear capability. But there is confirmation that Israel has high-grade nuclear military capability. So once again, I ask you, who is the existential threat in the region? Is it the one with the nuclear capability? Is it the one who has, in the last month alone, attacked 5 different areas and 4 different countries? Is it the one that's committing a Holocaust in Gaza? Or is it the one that has not been aggressive until the Israelis began the aggression?
Aisha, we appreciate your time. Let's leave you there. That's Ayesha Kajee, international relations expert there. Some analysis on what is happening between Iran and Israel. Those attacks that have been taking place, at least in the last 2 or 3 days.